Throwbacks.
Number one, favorite Bill Walton memory or interaction with him?
Probably just I had a big party for former players at my house. I think my first year, and Bill and Lori stayed. They stayed much longer. Obviously, had a longer ride home. I think that night he was going to spend the night with one of his sons that lives in Malibu. But anyway, he and Mike Warren, everybody left and they stayed, helped me clean up. We were sat around all night. So, I remember when they finally left, I'm saying to myself, I got Bill Walton and Mike Warren hanging in my backyard for hours. I'm a son of a high school coach. It's pretty cool. So, but other than that, just as the basic, that would have been the most time I spent with him in an elongated, non-public setting. It was great.
I talked to him about that at Pac-12 Media Day that year, and he listed off your whole menu. He remembered everything you had. So.
Yeah. Because I think for UCLA people, I don't know about Lori and the family, but like for UCLA people, Saturday would the tribute be like our funeral, because we didn't get it, because he didn't want a celebration of life. You have to respect people's wishes. So, but it was, but it's unusual when somebody passes that well, there's no funeral.
Yeah, so how glad are you that UCLA is able to honor him?
Yeah, well, we appreciate Lori and the boys for allowing us to have the Saturday celebration.
Okay, and then
for our fans, something I know our fans really wanted.
Yeah. Okay, my other throwback question: what do you remember about coaching victory number one?
We got to go back.
I got the game story right here.
There's a side note to that, because technically the exhibition win.
That doesn't count, though.
Yeah, but I played against my buddy Maury Hanks. It was my first exhibition win.
Okay. So you've gotten 500 already.
And they beat LSU, I think, the night before or something. It was back with those all-star teams.
Yeah.
So he kind of let me win. Even though we had a great team at Murray State, he just beat LSU the night before. He still tells me that I called the dogs off on you. But no, I think it was Wagner.
Do you remember
Mike Dean?
What's that?
Mike Dean.
Yeah.
He wore the glasses with the tint. It was like.
Guess how many deflections? This was actually in the game.
It was a lot. I do know that, because we were losing and we went on a big run.
47.
And I remember Mike Dean telling me after he found me, he said, "Well, you're going to have a really good team." Now, he had been the head coach at Marquette when I was with Bob Huggins in Cincinnati, so we knew each other. I had a lot of respect for Coach Dean, and he's like, "I'm telling you, you guys are going to be really good." He was right. We had a great team my first year. A veteran, older team.
Yeah, you went on a 24-0 run.
Wow.
47 deflections, 25 turnovers forced. 28 points off turnovers, and shot 9 of 17 from 3. So
well, I'm telling you, I had a good team now.
Yeah.
We had a good team. So
how
a lot of veteran, older players on that. We won I don't know. We won a lot of games that year.
Yeah. So take yourself back to that evening. Could you imagine being here today?
No. Take me back. You can imagine being the coach at UCLA?
Yeah.
No. Back then, I think when you're young, you're just thinking, can I get a job, make enough money, and before I get fired? At least that's how I was. I think some people maybe have different outlooks. We all have different brain wires, right? So it's just, how do I survive? How do you survive? Okay, we got a good team. These guys are going to graduate. And back then it was, you got to can we recruit good enough players behind them? Because if not, you're going to get fired. That's just how I've always operated. You're either getting extended or extinguished in that profession. So, no, the answer is no.
You probably know why I'm asking this, right?
Yeah.
Of this.
Well, that's because I wouldn't have known that other than I asked my dad why he was flying in for this game. which he gave, he said, well, if you don't have a great relationship with your dad where you make fun of each other, I feel for you. So I have a awesome one. Although his flight's already delayed because there's no direct from Cincinnati today, so I think he snowed in Detroit. But anyway, I think he's like, you genius. He was making fun of me. He goes, well, you're a real genius. If you win, what it is. I was like, that. No, I did not know. And so he put that on me.
What does it mean for him to come out for this game?
Look, he's 83. You get to a certain point, that, and I don't know where you guys are, some with your father, the fact that he's alive is a gift. So although I pay for everything and have for about the last 15 years, which is an honor to be able to pay your dad back. Still paying for everything, but I'm glad because, when somebody's 83, knock on wood, his health's been great. So, I look forward to calling him every day. I'm driving over the mountain, Pauley Pass. I get to hear him. Like yesterday, he sent me the picture. There was complete snow in Cincinnati. He goes, the fact that he can take a picture is on his phone. No. So anyway, happy. But yeah, that's why I was wondering why he was coming for this one and not for the Michigan State game.
Is there a single, just one big important lesson he's imparted you just from a coaching perspective?
From coaching's perspective, yeah. When you're a high school coach, you don't coach for money. It's all about relationships and teaching. And that's what coaching used to be about. I try to hold on to that. And I know people at times think, man, this guy's hard on his players or this. I try to be a truth teller because I want these guys to grow up because they live in a fantasy land. And it's not their fault. I know people say, he calls his players delusional. It's not their fault. We have created the fantasy land, the commercialization of youth sports, pay for play, and all the money and branding that surrounds this whole thing. It puts them in a fantasy land that's not going to be there for them when the ball stops bouncing. And that's what I try to prepare them for. What's it going to take for me to hire you someday? Are you going to be hardworking enough, dependable enough? Are you going to have life habits that are going to stop me from hiring you? Are you going to have the work ethic and character? Because even playing basketball is a job. So that's what my dad was about, and that's what I try to be about. And I know sometimes people look and be like, well, guys ain't going to want to play for him and that's okay. That's okay because there's a second side of people in our business that they're not like that. They're not going to tell guys the truth because they want to be popular for recruiting reasons and media reasons, and they think it helps them. But they have no substance, and I sleep well at night. And I'm not always right. I'm sure sometimes I say things I'd like to have back, or I'm harder on guys, but whatever. But I know when I sleep well at night because I know I care about it. And I got that from my dad.
This time of year, a lot of coaches are shortening rotations or cutting things down. When you have a guy like Trent who's kind of
trying to deepen hours.
Yeah, surging at this point. How do you balance that with kind of keeping a
Playing.
regular rotation?
Playing. I mean, like I said, you obviously don't like cold weather. You didn't make the trip.
Yeah.
Or Tracy's just too cheap to pay for it. Ben and I were talking after the game, and I told him, I thought I should have played him more in the Illinois game. We should have went smaller in that game. So there's just opportunities. It's obviously there's only so many minutes. It's tough, but I think what I try to do is, as you guys know, I always say that you got to improve. win or lose, how do we improve? How do we improve? And he's a guy that's a really good player that can be a huge factor for us because his off-the-ball defense and his intelligence is great, that getting him to be a factor for us, because he's got it in him, is something that could really, really help us in March. So I try to evaluate, not just get ready to beat Minnesota, which is, the challenge. I think they're really well coached. And they're the oldest starting lineup in the country. But what are we going to have to look like to win in March? And a Trent Perry that's a big factor for us makes us a better team and gives you another weapon.
What are the spots you feel he's flourished in?
Well, stuff that people wouldn't notice. He is great as far as his off-the-ball defense, his scouting report adherence. He's improving on the ball, and his just understanding of what we're trying to do. He's still getting tougher with the ball versus college players that are 4 or 5 years older than him. He's getting better with that, and just continue to work with him on his shooting and making sure he's getting his elbow, lifting his elbow and shooting the ball with arc. He's also a weapon late game. If he gets to a point where he can really take care of the ball, because he's an elite free throw shooter. If you look at their state championship game last year, it was a big piece of. I don't think he missed one. He dominated their state championship game, and made every free throw down the stretch. So when you have a guard like that, it's a big weapon, and obviously it's a problem if you don't, because missing 2 friends and a bonus almost cost us the game at Indiana.
I wanted to follow up on something you said after the game. You said great programs have support commensurate with expectations. You mentioned
3 things. Yeah. Number 1, to be a great program, yes, support commensurate with expectations, which everybody doesn't have.
right.
They have expectations. A lot of programs don't have the support commensurate
Right.
with
That's what I was
expectations.
going to get to. So you mentioned, the alumni like Kareem, Mike Warren.
Yes,
You've got
that's the second
great
piece, fan base and alumni support.
And NIL with Ken and Men of Westwood.
Yes.
How about the athletic department component? Is there anything they can do to support you more? Are you happy with where things are with that?
In what aspect? There's so many aspects of that.
Giving
It's
you
a lot
any
of-
resources you need, helping with getting more fans to Pauley Pavilion.
I would love more fans at Pauley Pavilion, sure, but can't have everything. I think that I try to tell coaches this. I think the problem with our society in general is you have to be. Some people are never happy. It's a bad way to go through life. And Mike Bray taught me this a long time ago. He's a good friend of mine. He now drinks wine and hangs out as an NBA assistant. He's got the greatest job ever. I hope somebody send this to him, please. And Notre Dame's found out that he did a great job. Sometimes they know a little bit more after you leave. But anyway, if you want to be somewhere, you have to understand everything's not perfect. Because I used to ask him about Notre Dame, right? Football, no new arena, no practice. You know what? You got to appreciate what you have and the positives in your job. So that's what I try to do here. Sure, there's always things, but I don't want people to, I don't care where you're at. It's never always going to be perfectly done the way you want it. And I think some coaches make a mistake thinking that, and they're never happy. And then you're not liked on your campus because you're always complaining. So sure, Martin and I talk about a lot of stuff. We have great open dialogue, things to improve the staff. He helped me a lot getting Dave Andrews here. Now I got to keep him here. So there's a lot of things. It's, whether it's fans at games, which is always because of game times here, in traffic. We all know the different challenges here. The weather and 11 pro teams now, I think it's up to. So it's just, you know, you got it. But yeah, Martin and I talk about that stuff all the time. Anything that we, you know, I feel I want to talk about or he wants to talk about. So we have constant open dialogue with that. But yeah, I'm not somebody that sits around like, we don't have this, you know, something. I think it's fool's gold to think it's always going to be that way.
One more question.
That it's going to be, you know, Camelot.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of positives here. A lot of positives.
Is everyone fully recovered from everything at this point, illness-wise?
I could use. I need to gain some weight. You know, that stomach thing is no joke, man. I think, you know, a guy's got to get this. He's feeling better, but you know, you lose 10, 12 pounds. It's a lot. You know, so for the most part, yeah, I think we're in pretty decent shape. You guys know we play Minnesota tomorrow, right?
Too much stuff going on.
Too much other stuff going
Yeah.
on. I understand you're working on Bill stuff for Saturday.
Sunday.
Sunday. I don't even know what day I know we play Tuesday. So,
But, let me ask you a Minnesota question.
please, somebody ask me. I mean, I got, look, they're 3-3 in their last 6 with
Yeah.
2 road wins.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, they won at SC.
Yeah.
Does that in a way do you a favor because it gets your players' attention and that?
Maybe, I hope so. I hope their win at SC gets their attention, gets our guys' attention. They got the leading scorer in the Big Ten. And when you watch them on film defensively, when they should have help, their help man is always there, which tells me they're really well coached. They're
where
really
they-
well.
where-
So in the
where they
USC
struggle-
game, 36-18, they win points in the paint. They hold SC to 18 in the paint in their own gym. I think the Big Ten just forces you to struggle. You know, look at Oregon's record in the Big. I mean, it's just there's good. Indiana's got good players, man. I just say it's the Big Ten is tough on coaches. I was in this league, but his name was the Big East in 2011. When you got 10, 11 tournament teams, 9, 10, 11 in that range, like the SEC's got 13. I mean, it's really, really hard. You got to be deep. You got to have some serious talent. I mean, did anybody see Purdue and Illinois losing at home on your bingo card Saturday? Did you guys have those two penciled in? So, you know, I think Minnesota in a different league is you could flip their conference record.
Yeah.
You know, they're more than look. They beat Michigan. Michigan's winning our league. I think Michigan has 2 league losses, and one of them is Minnesota. So that tells you, like, they're a solid basketball team with the leading scorer in the conference. And they're the oldest starting 5 in the country. And they're well coached. Now, I know everybody just looks and says, well, they'll, you know, I know how fans look at it. You know, we hopefully our students will be there and bring the energy. You know, we need to support. And, you know, I know we're not looking at it like, you know, well, here's what place they are in the league. Then they get the added pump of they're fighting to get in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
So, you know, that huge win at USC. So, all right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.